Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Military Spouse to Millionaire. I am shaking shit up this year with the podcast. Honestly, all of this wonderful Hawaii scenery that is behind me is really a byproduct of this very cool new microphone that I got. I really am trying this year to show people more of Hawaii. So when I redid my PCS packet, I incorporated some content that showed you more of the island, more things to do, things to check out. And why? Like, why sit in my podcast room with the fake green wall when I can sit my ass out here on my lanai off of my bedroom and you guys can see the real Hawaii? I've been hesitant to do something like this. Mostly because of the sound aspect. So hopefully this little guy works. It has like a background noise dampening feature. It does have a little wind muff, but honestly, I tried it on the other day and it looked like I had a critter on, on my shoulder. So I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I'm just going to try a few episodes. I may not always podcast in the same space. This really allows me to be able to podcast from anywhere. And maybe I'll go around the island to different locations and talk about where I'm at as part of the podcast to, again, continue to play welcome wagon to all of the military families that are coming here. I've been here for 8 years. I absolutely love this island. So I'm hoping to share a little bit more of that with you guys this year with the help of this handy dandy microphone. And it's more fun. It's more fun to look at this background than my fake background. So all that being said, let's get into what we are talking about today. And that is not making fear-based decisions. And honestly, I'm going to talk about me not being exempt from this impulse, right? So real estate investing and investing of any kind can be scary. It can be intimidating. It can require a lot of research and education, regardless of the place that you're at in your journey, whether you're a first-time home buyer or someone like myself, who me and my husband have been buying and selling homes, for 15 years and are now in the real estate space professionally, helping all of you guys get educated and make that, leap into real estate investing. But just because I've done this for 15 years personally doesn't mean that there still aren't things that happen or transactions that we are involved in or have done over the years that don't make me nervous. I hate it when people look at all the information and they're like, yeah, like I understand the numbers and the statistics and the math is mathing and all the things, but we're just too scared. It kills me because we do scary things every day. If you're a military member, joining the military was probably scary. You're volunteering to serve and potentially go off to war and die for our country. You can't tell me that's not a little scary. Driving a car, flying in airplanes, like we do things all the time that have risk and that are scary. Even investing in like the stock market or other types of investing can be intimidating and scary. So I am going to talk to you about an actual real estate transaction that Clayton and I are in currently that I am fucking so scared about, in the hopes that it does make me more relatable in the sense of I practice what I preach, you guys. I'm not sitting here preaching at all of you to do this, to take a chance, to get the education without doing it myself. Like, yes, obviously I'm a real estate agent, but I am also an active participant in the real estate world as a consumer, just like you are. And honestly, at this point in my career, on a much larger scale than most of you. Okay, so let's talk about the real estate transaction that Clayton and I are currently in escrow for. It's in Colorado. I've talked about this a ton on other podcast episodes. I don't choose to have most of our rental portfolio here in Hawaii, and I've talked about that at length. The risk of vacancy is high. The tax liability is high. Properties here don't normally cash flow. There are other episodes on that. If you want to look into that or message me directly, I'm happy to have conversations about renting and things like that. But personally, as an investor, I choose to invest on the mainland, specifically in Colorado Springs, right outside of Fort Carson, long term, because I think that's somewhere that we will go back to. We have a second home there, and we were stationed there twice during Clayton's career. We have a great team there. We have the infrastructure there to do all these kind of things that we are doing in real estate, but I digress. That's not the point. We are currently in escrow for a 2-acre lot of land with a house on 1 acre. So the house that's on the property currently is like on the edge of one of the acres. And then it's literally like just an expanse of land for the rest of it. So we are in contract for $1,275,000. We are doing, conventional loans, investment loans for this property. So not the VA loan because we're not living there. And that comes with 25% down. So you can do the math. 25% down on, 1.275 is a healthy chunk of change that we are putting down on this property. Now, this opportunity was brought to us by our real estate agent because we do investing in this way from time to time when the right opportunity presents itself. It is scary every single time, but we don't let the fact that it's a little scary detour us from actually looking at the numbers, looking at the neighborhood, which we're extremely familiar with because we already have a duplex and our second home in this neighborhood in Colorado. It's the Broadmoor. So we looked at the comparable sales. We looked at the neighborhood. We talked to our agent there who we've known forever and at this point is one of our close personal friends. They vacation here and stay with us. We vacation there and stay with them. We go on cruises together. Shout out Ben Kennedy if you're watching this. So we trust him explicitly to always be keeping an eye out for deals that we would be interested in or would be good for our portfolio or just, kind of turn and burn properties where you maybe buy them, flip them, resell them. Like he's always looking at stuff for us because that's the space we're in. We did not start in this space. We started 15 years ago buying a $180,000 single family home on a short sale in 2009, immediately following the housing market crash. Again, when so many people were making fear-based decisions because something traumatic in the market did happen. And I'm not trying to, glaze over that, but the unshakable faith that we have developed over the years in the real estate market is because there is concrete data to show that even when it takes a hit, it is always going to rebound. So we took a chance and we bought our first house in 2009, right after the housing market crash. And that was where we started. Now, fast forward 15 years and we're doing crazy shit like I'm about to describe to you because we don't make fear-based decisions. We make scary decisions that we're making based on statistical facts and information. So Ben brings us this deal and says, hey, it's on this 2-acre lot of property. We're getting it for $1,275. Here's what I'm thinking. And Ben does some crazy shit. I can link his social media. You guys, it is, even for me, who does this professionally, the shit that this man does is, he is a visionary. It's amazing. He jacks up old historic, like 1900 houses in Colorado and will build like full basements in them to make them like bigger and more usable for like nowadays. He guts property. I mean, the things that this man does, he's an inspiration. I digress. That's not the point of this podcast, but he brings the deal to us and he says, okay, here's what I'm thinking. A few months back, Ben sold a 1-acre lot of land that had a structure on it that was like condemned and half fallen down, needed to be torn down, but had like a foundation that was good and utilities that were like plumbed in and like brought into the property. So 1-acre land essentially with a slab foundation and utilities. And he sold that for just under $1 million in this neighborhood, in the Broadmoor neighborhood. And looking at the comparable sales for the home with the land all together, basically, in a nutshell, what we're doing, and we've never done anything like this before, we're buying the land, we're buying the house, we're buying everything now. We are going to subdivide the land and make it into 2 1-acre plots of land, which is something we've never done before, dealing with like city and county and subdividing properties and getting a second address for the other property and all that kind of stuff. We've never done that before, because looking at the data and the information that Ben is sharing with us, we should, based on sales that he's done, the average lot size in this neighborhood is half an acre, not even a full acre. So we are going to have 2 1-acre plots of land, one of them with a house on it, one of them raw land. Looking at Ben's comps and the numbers, we should be able to resell once we renovate the kitchen in the existing home. That's the caveat with the existing home. It's lovely. It does need a new kitchen. So we're going to put probably, I would say, $18,000 to $20,000 into a new kitchen. And we're going to subdivide the lot and sell the 1 acre with the existing house on it with the renovated kitchen for probably about $1,250. We're buying the whole thing for $1,275. So that's that piece of the puzzle. That being said, once we subdivide this land and lay a foundation and get utilities brought in to the land, based on the comps and the information, we should be able to resell that land for almost $1 million. So that is easily, even with everything, like renovating the kitchen, paying to subdivide the land, like we're probably going to make between $700,000 and $800,000, knock on wood, if everything goes as planned, on this deal. And even if you want to be super conservative and like pare that down a whole lot, even if we make $500,000, we are making $500,000 on this deal. And I'm sitting here in Hawaii talking to you guys because we are able to do this because we have assets that we've acquired over time that we are now using as leverage in addition to just liquid cash that we have, but we're able to use assets that we have to do deals like this. And even if we make a fraction of what the projections are, I'm not going to be mad if I make $500,000 on this deal, but it does require a lot of upfront cash. So we're having to put the 25% down. We're probably going to have to pay $20,000 for a kitchen. We're probably going to have to pay $30,000 for, having the utilities brought in, doing all of that kind of stuff, maybe even more. I think 30 to 50 is where that's going to land. But even when you subtract all of those costs, it's still such a substantial profit. And all I'm doing is funding these things because I am an investor. I'm not swinging a hammer. I am not going to the city and county and having to deal with all of that. Thanks, Ben. Ben's doing that as our agent. I'm at a point in life where I'm able to leverage my assets that I've acquired over the years through real estate investing to do things like this now. And that grows our wealth exponentially. Even if we do 2 deals like this a year, that is $1 million, even conservatively. Deals like this, I wouldn't say come along like all of the time, which is why we're doing this deal. But at the end of the day, the liquid cash that we are putting into this deal is probably very close to $400,000 liquid that we are taking from liquid cash or leveraging assets. And that does give us a certain level of exposure, right? Like, are we selling the farm to do this deal? If it falls apart, are we going to be destitute? No, of course not, because that would not be smart. But it is a substantial financial investment to take almost $400,000 of liquidity or leveraging assets to take a chance on this working. And I want to really drive home the fact that this feeling of trepidation or fear or like, gosh, I hope this works out, I understand is the same feeling that many of you I would say most of you probably have felt or are feeling when you think about buying a home here, because home prices are so expensive here, which, fun fact, we are going to talk about that in my next podcast episode. I am titling it, "This Ain't Your Grandma's Real Estate Market," because there have been some things that just prompted this, and I'll talk about that in the next episode. Stay tuned. But the payments, the overall sticker shock, homes being smaller, homes being older, the overall risk of, we're only going to be here for 3 years. Is it going to be worth it? These things make you potentially have concerns, or you're nervous. And just like Ben showed us on paper, hey, I understand you're nervous. I get it. That's valid. But here's why to be less nervous. I got you. I did this research. I've sold properties like this. I've sold land like this. Here's the data. Here's the comps. Here's, the closing paperwork, and shows the profit and what it sold for. I am able to give you all of that same sort of stuff for our market here. Here's the average days on market, 45 to 55 island wide most of the time. Here's hundreds of examples of past clients, when they bought, when they sold, how much they made, what their ranks were. I have so much data behind me, not just from the Honolulu Board of Realtors and 4 decades worth of information that they've compiled, but at this point, probably close to 550 past clients that I have personally gotten my hands on and helped, and have those firsthand success stories. So while it's okay to say something is scary, say something is intimidating, it's okay to say those things. I know that's hard and kind of makes you feel vulnerable maybe, but it's okay. I would rather someone tell me that than keep coming with excuses, because if you come with excuses, I'm just going to come with data that shows you why you shouldn't be worried about that, or why that maybe isn't a concern here in Hawaii. If you're just scared, just say that. Just say, this makes me a little nervous. I'm still hearing you out, but that's what I told Ben. I was very skeptical. I was like, I don't know, guys. This is a lot of money. It's just a lot. And it's a lot of uncharted territory for us as investors doing specifically what we're doing now, buying a house, gutting it, flipping it, all of that every day, all day, every day. I'm your girl. I live for a renovation. So that kind of stuff, easy day. This kind of stuff with the raw land and the subdividing and the blah, 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 all this stuff, I'm I don't know. But I can't sit here on my soapbox and preach to hundreds and hundreds of people constantly about it's scary, do it anyways, and not follow my own advice. So wish me luck. We are supposed to close on the transaction the middle of this month. So I think right after Valentine's Day is our closing date. And Ben has already started, contacting the city and county. We've already had a survey done. We've already had an appraisal done. All of those things have gone very smoothly, knock on wood. We need to, once we close, we need to get the utility company out there to start doing all that and letting us know how long that's going to take, because this is not, we have $400,000 almost of liquid cash tied up into this. It's not something that we want to hold for a long time. So I definitely think in the summer, if not before, is when we're looking to liquidate out of this. So it might be a while, but I will certainly keep you guys updated. And I hope this really does cause you to see me as someone that's not just in this professional position, but understand that I am, like I said, an active participant in the real estate market, because unapologetically, I think it is hands down one of the only ways to build real wealth. I heard a quote the other day saying, you can't save your way to rich. And that really resonated with me, because, that's just not, it's not feasible most of the time. Like we have to make these smarter investments. So that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the view and the sunshine. Maybe I'll do it downstairs next time. I have a beautiful yard with a great view of the golf course. So maybe we'll podcast there. But thanks so much, guys. As always, like, follow, subscribe. I wouldn't have any of this if it weren't for all of you. Bye.